Aloha everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Kyle and I'm very excited to be with all of you today. It has been a very wild close to the year that was 2016 and a very exciting entrance into 2017. And I would love to share my thoughts with you today and talk about some of the bigger transits that are really going to be affecting us astrologically for the year ahead. And I would also like to talk about just the astrology of 2016 and what a wildly crazy but amazing, tumultuous year that it was, and how that's led us to the new year that we are in now. So buckle up your seatbelts, get ready. This is going to probably be a long-winded video more than likely. I have not made one in a while, so let's just jump right into it, you guys. First, I would like to talk about 2016. Yes, that's what I think about when I think about 2016. I don't know about the rest of you, but it was a year full of a lot of turmoil for a lot of people. It seems pretty universally agreed upon that there was a lot of darkness and a lot of shadow work being done last year. If you don't know what shadow work is, I really highly suggest you to look into it. We all got a shadow, we all have a dark side. We all struggle with things that we don't want other people to know about. And I noticed last year, everyone, for the most part, was really dealing with those things that they don't want other people to know about, and those things were coming out and being exposed. The planets last year were definitely aligning in a way that were bringing certain things to the surface. There was a lot of exposure, there was a lot of meat and nitty-gritty stuff. I found that the little dance that Mars was doing last year was pretty interesting to me because it reminded me of what Saturn did back in 2015, how it went back and forth between Scorpio and Sagittarius. I will never forget that. It's an unforgettable time. No matter how much I want to say goodbye to it, I'm sure you all might agree. Back in 2015, you know, when Saturn first went into Sagittarius for a couple months, it was like, yes, we're out of that Scorpio territory, thank God. But then it was like, fuck, no, went back into Scorpio and retrograded and yeah, ruined our lives all over again. No, not really. So all that to say, Mars did the same thing last year in 2016. Mars entered the year in Scorpio. It was sometime January 2016. Mars went into Scorpio, and there's no doubt that Mars has a way of stirring things up no matter what house it's transiting for you or what sign it's in. It's going to get to the nitty-gritty. It's going to, you know, just cause some chaos sometimes. And considering Scorpio is one of the signs that Mars rules, this definitely was very much so the case with that. And so I found Mars in Scorpio definitely had a lot of, there was a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of just hidden secrets and deep truths that hadn't been exposed that were coming out into the limelight. And it really brought about a lot of frantic energy for a lot of people, especially starting the year that way. And so, yeah, Mars went all the way through Scorpio and then entered Sagittarius, I want to say, sometime in March. And then it retrograded, and in that retrograde, Mars went back into Scorpio for a little bit. And then it's so kind of the same thing Saturn did the year before, like I said. It's like, oh my God, here we go again. And then after finishing up in Scorpio again, just the last couple degrees, it goes back into Sag. And I think stayed there until September. So finally, the last few months of the year, we got to experience Mars and some other energies. So I know I'm being kind of long-winded here, but I think that was important to say that this back and forth dance with Mars really gave us the opportunity last year to really evaluate what is Scorpio, what is Sagittarius, what do these two themes and these archetypes represent. And something that I think Scorpio and Sagittarius both have in common is they both deal with truth. Scorpio deals with the darker side of truth. It's confronting the truth, it's processing it and bringing up the emotional side of it. And then when we go into Sagittarius, it's that blunt force that just spits it right out, sheds some light on it and all the darkness that was in Scorpio, and it illuminates it and it shares it. Sometimes in a charismatic way, sometimes in a blunt way, and it's exposing what Scorpio is digging to find. One of the biggest themes of 2016 that I have to like kind of just breathe like woosah before going into is the very anticipated and highly talked about Saturn and Neptune square that dominated a lot of the year of 2016. And I wanted to talk about that with y'all for a little bit and get your thoughts and feedback and share mine. So this square, you know, I heard some talk about it towards the end of 2015 when the first exact square happened. It was like the end of November, beginning of December 2015 when Saturn and Neptune had their first official square. And so because of that, that really started 2016 out in the energy of that square and everything that that represented. So I remember hearing about it and I was like, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You know, if I could survive Saturn and Scorpio, this is nothing. This is nothing. And I definitely set myself up for, I don't want to say some failure, but I definitely got a bit blindsided by that one and got slapped in the face a few times because squares, you guys, are, to me, the most challenging and difficult aspects. There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of just crisis energy that comes up and people get all like and just a lot of fighting and just a lot of conflict, really, honestly. And so you look at what Saturn represents and then you look at what Neptune represents. And then you see, okay, the aspect here is a square and what signs those are happening in: Saturn and Sagittarius, Neptune and Pisces. When these two come into a square, I found that everyone was just running around like chickens with their heads cut off. You know, I had so many goals and plans. Oh, I was going to do this and do that. And I kept getting halted last year, I noticed. I kept having these events come up that really just brought me to a dead stop in my tracks and made me reevaluate everything I was thinking, saying, doing. And it was like, what the fuck? What's going on? I can't move forward here. What are you doing to me, Saturn and Neptune? Come on. And it served a purpose because it forced me to really look at what do I want, what am I aspiring, and what am I doing to make that happen? Am I really on the path that's for me, or am I doing something because of someone else's expectations? Am I, you know, is this job really meant for me, or am I just here for the money? Do I know that I'm going to be with this job long term or not? Do I need to go travel here, or is it just for pleasure and luxury and I should maybe put that off a little bit? Or do I need more time off and some time for travel and pleasure and luxury? Where's the balance between the two? And so either way, it was that square carried out throughout the whole year. I know the square happened again sometime over the summer around June and July, and then I believe it happened again between September and October. And so yeah, there was 3 exact ones and it carried really through the whole year. And so I think it's really important to look to a year ahead, or especially at the beginning of the year, look at the transits, look at what's going down that's going to be affecting everybody as a whole collectively, so you know what the energy is going to be for everyone, and know that, like, okay, let's brace ourselves for this. Let's, instead of being afraid of this aspect, let's utilize it so it's going to help us rather than, you know, just send us flustered and going crazy. That leads into what I want to talk about the most, which is the astrology of 2017. Yes! If you are watching this video right now, I want to say I honor you and I thank you for getting here and for being bold, because 2016 was a hard year, y'all. Like, I think, like I talked about earlier, it's just pretty well known. So bless your soul for getting to this moment. Like, you did it, I did it, here we are, this is where we are moving forward, and I'm so happy. I feel we have some really supportive energies right now in our solar system, especially astrologically, that are really supporting us right now and giving us a backbone to help us with what we need. So let's talk about that a little bit, y'all. One of the biggest ones, kind of like we were just talking about, the Saturn-Neptune square from 2016. A big aspect that, similarly to that one, that's going to be carrying us through this next year, all of 2017, is the Jupiter and Uranus opposition. So I just want to first say, you know, everyone has their opinions and might think differently. I personally believe the opposition to be an easier aspect than the square. So there's that one right then and there. Always know that with an opposition, to me, I see it as this teeter-totter effect. You've got a middle ground and then a middle ground and a common goal, and then two sides kind of balancing out and kind of going about two different ways of coming to that common goal. So this opposition between the two is happening for Jupiter in Libra and Uranus is in Aries. And really, this is the opposition of all oppositions, you guys. You know, Aries and Libra are the first opposition that happens in the zodiac. It's individual self and partnership. It is, okay, me, myself, and I, and you, basically. And it's how you balance those two. There's a lot of relationship stuff that is going to be coming up with this opposition. And the first one happened actually the very last week of last year of December 2016. It was around December 26th, December 27th. And so the year ended on that note and got started on that note. The next one I think is going to be the week of March the 2nd. And the third and final one will be September 28th, which will carry us out through the rest of the year. And so I urge all of you to really look at what do these two planets represent, the signs that it's happening in Aries and Libra, balancing that out and seeing the houses that this transit is happening for you. See what house Uranus is in, see what house Jupiter is in the transits, and those two houses they show up in are where this opposition that's affecting us collectively, that's where it's going to show up for you personally, is in your own houses in your chart that they're transiting through. I feel that, well, yeah, it can bring about definitely some tensions in relationships. There's going to be some arguing, there's going to be some fighting. See where you can compromise, see where, you know, you are able to work with people, because with this aspect, you are going to have to work with other people, is what it comes down to. Now, yeah, not at the expense of compromising yourself and your truth and your identity and authenticity, because you have to balance that part of it too, but in that you have to be willing to work with other people. So for all you out there that are stubborn and want to put people off and flakiness, you gotta do it. I believe in you, I believe in me, we got this. Another really important point to know going into this next year is Saturn and the significance that Saturn is going to be bringing to the game. Saturn has been a big one on everyone's mind, I know, for the last few years since Saturn in Scorpio. Saturn definitely started getting a lot of attention since 2012 from me, I know that much, and a lot of other astrologers and just people that are in the astrological community. And it's important because Saturn is often feared and no one wants to deal with the shit that Saturn brings up. But my gosh, there's so much gold there, you guys. There is so much significance, really, that Saturn brings to our lives. And what a disservice to that planet and what Saturn brings forth to the table to ignore that and kind of put it off to the side and not deal with it. The last 2 years we have been in this Saturn and Sagittarius energy since December 2014. So yeah, the last little over 2 years now. And in December 2017, the end of this year, it is going to be wrapping up Sag and then entering into Capricorn. So we have another 11 months, about a year left of this energy. We are in the final stages of it, so I think it's so important to take this year and really take away everything from this transit we possibly can and utilize it for our potential and our best benefit possible, even with the hard stuff that comes along with it, because God knows there will be. That's what Saturn does. And so, but I want to talk about the most significance with Saturn this year and the galactic center. For those that don't know, the galactic center is at the very center of the cosmos. It is the center of our galaxy, and it is just a huge significant point. And so when any planet passes the galactic center, what that planet and what it's all about it just does something spectacular that I can't describe. Just look at any planet and times they've passed through the galactic center. You can Google it and just see what was going on around that time at that point in history, and there will be significant events surrounding it. It's really some wild stuff. I urge you all to look into it. And so Saturn is going to be coming very, very close to the galactic center point. And let's see here, looking at my notes, the typical Virgo way of life. It is going to be coming very close to the galactic center April 6th of this year, so in a couple of months. And at that point, Saturn's going to be in a 27 degrees Sag, and the galactic center right now is at 28 or 29 degrees Sagittarius. So what's going to happen is it's going to get really close, and that day Saturn's going to go retrograde, going to do some backtracking for several months, and then it's going to later go direct, and then finally in December, when Saturn hits 28 degrees Sag, 28, 29 degrees, and is in those last 2 degrees, it is going to be crossing over the galactic center point. So believe you me, y'all, this year is a big one about destiny, purpose, fate. There's just a big destiny stamp on this year. It's a big reason why people are feeling more connected to their purpose now. They just know what they are supposed to be doing, and now it's a matter of just doing it. If you are struggling in your life right now, look to this transit, Saturn and Sagittarius, this last year, especially as we start gearing up towards April, when it's going to be very close to that galactic center point. Even though it won't be exact, it will be very close. There's going to be this feeling, just look at the events in your life right now, what's lining up and what's happening to you with jobs, with your inspirations, with your passions, with whatever it is you are doing. Be taking notes, be an active participant in your own life right now. These are very powerful times. I get so inspired talking about it because I know I have so many projects and dreams and things that are coming to fruition right now that I've been putting a lot of work into. This channel being one of them, and my astrological work. And so whatever it is for you individually, put time into it, put effort in, keep climbing up the ladder and doing what it is you know you're supposed to be doing. No matter what everyone else says, no how discouraged and defeated you may feel at times, keep going, just keep going. We are at such an important threshold right now. As we get towards the end of this year, something tells me as Saturn officially crosses over that galactic center point, a lot's going to be happening, and there's going to be some really big revelations and insights and profound enlightenment and illumination that is brought into our lives as a whole. Those are some of the most potent things that are coming up for the year, and please know this year is what you make it. As always with anything astrology, these planets are influences, and they are definitely pressing upon our lives, and they're bringing certain energies in, these aspects that happen and these transits we all go through. They are pushing us forward, but they don't make us do anything. They don't make us take action. They do weigh upon us, sometimes in dark and heavy ways, and sometimes in very light and illuminating ways, and more playful and fun. But whatever the case, and however they show up, they don't make us do anything. Astrology never takes away from our free will to do as we do and say what we want, and to take our own initiative. So always know that. That's so important to remember with astrology. So thank you, everybody. That is kind of a wrap up of the astrology of 2016 and a nice little overview for what 2017 is going to be. Thank you so much for watching. Just so many blessings to all of you on your paths and whatever you're doing. I trust that you are all doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and discovering your own purposes in the ways that you do in exactly the right time and right ways. So again, thank you, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Happy transiting.